Hello everyone, welcome to CyberScoop TV. Greg Otto, your editor-in-chief here. We're coming to you from the floor of the 2019 RSA conference. I'm talking with Aaron Cockerill, the Chief Strategy Officer for Lookout. Thanks for joining us today. So at the conference, you guys have announced a new partnership or a new initiative. Talk to me a little bit about what you've announced.
The Post-Perimeter Security Alliance.
There we go, the Alliance,
yes,
right, okay.
Exactly. So what that's about is, we've been trying to help customers identify how to do post-perimeter security for some time.
Okay.
One of the challenges, and you'll hear a lot of people talk about zero trust and continuous authentication, these are all themes around the same type of approach to security when you can no longer use the perimeter as part of the primary security, at least for endpoints. Okay. Because let's face it, we're all accessing corporate data from outside of that perimeter now.
Right.
In fact, recent research that we did said users are actually doing it, 76% of the data that they access is from outside of the corporate perimeter.
Okay.
So what we're trying to promote with the idea of post-perimeter security is access to corporate data from outside that perimeter should be based on the trust of the user and how accurately you can identify the individual.
Okay.
Whether the device that they're consuming that information from is free of malware, has got the up-to-date operating system, all that type of thing, and is appropriate for their context. And so we've brought together an alliance of companies that have a similar view on the way that you should provide access to corporate infrastructure. And the big emphasis is on two things. One is you can't do it alone, and that is if you're going to do a continuous authentication or continuous conditional access-based trust model for access to corporate data, you need to establish the identity like I described, but you also need to continuously monitor risk.
That's really interesting, that's really interesting, the risk part of it. How do you continuously monitor risk? That's such an interesting aspect.
There's a lot of parts to it. In the simplest form, it's, okay, if there's a new operating system released for the device that the user is using because the previous one had vulnerabilities, then at that point, that operating system presents a higher risk. So continuously monitoring that just says, okay, we knew that a new operating system came out and we knew that this one is now behind. And that's an example. Another example is the operating system of the device or the device that the user is using may have inadvertently installed malware. The user inadvertently went to a phishing site. They decided to turn off the key code on their phone because their kid's playing a game on it.
Okay.
Any one of those examples increase the risk. And so as soon as that triggers for us an indicator to say, whoops, risk level's gone up. And so depending on the policy of the company, then you potentially integrate to another player such as Okta or any of the identity teams that are in the alliance, and then use that identity control to protect the corporate data from that potentially compromised or risky device.
Okay, so what other companies are involved in the alliance? I know you mentioned Okta, but I imagine there's more.
Yes, so there's BlackBerry and incidentally Cylance, their recent acquisition. We were talking to them at the same time, so they're both in it as well. Google, from both the cloud and an identity perspective, are in the alliance. SentinelOne are in the alliance, and that's and VMware. And VMware are in there from the perspective of both their mobile management, but moreover the complete Workspace ONE aspect.
So how do you expect this alliance to grow? Do you expect to have more people come in, or what's the goal 6 months, a year from now?
I would say it's two parts. The first one is the primary goal that we had for the alliance is, in order to make that continuous authentication piece or continuous conditional access, to make it continuous, you need to have actual active product integration. Okay. It's not as simple, we found, unfortunately, of just adopting standards like SAML. It doesn't allow you, like, the standard enables continuous authentication or continuous assessment of trust, but a lot of the ways that it's been implemented lack, for example, the ability to revoke a token for certain services. So there's continuous work for integration with the products, and so there'll be more teams, more companies, more products that are integrated. That's the first one. The second one is we expect many of the system integrators and the partners that the participants have to start to bring to market integrated solutions from a go-to-market and pricing perspective as well. So they're the two objectives that we have right now.
Great. Aaron, really appreciate you giving some insight on this, and thanks for dropping by.
No problem. Cheers.
For all of our videos, check out our YouTube channel, and for more on RSA, I'm sorry, say that one more time. What do we have?
Post-Perimeter Security Alliance.
For more information on the Post Perimeter Security Alliance, check out cyberscoop.com. I'm Greg Otto. Thanks for watching.